If you're like me, you've probably been distracted from the absolute what the fuckery that Trump has been conducting in California. Check this out.
On horses, walking through the park.
That's the message from the polluted heart of the President of the United States. The polluted heart of Stephen Miller.
You could see that this wasn't an active crime scene that they were rushing to, that there wasn't even a border checkpoint in any of this. That is literally just MacArthur Park in LA, where kids were literally playing soccer that morning. They were just playing soccer. And they were doing all of this under the policy of protecting ICE agents, literally acting as security guards for ICE agents. And of course, all of this was done with zero coordination with local leaders. Zero. And as you know, it directly violates California's sanctuary policies and other laws that they have. And no, those are not illegal. SCOTUS has time and time again supported a state's 10th Amendment rights, which is basically that states do not have to use their law enforcement to enforce federal policies. And remember, ICE detainers are not court orders. They're requests. SCOTUS has, again, supports a state's right to say, no, we're not going to enforce that shit. You do it with your manpower. And I know, you may be saying, well, then that's what Trump is doing. That is what he's doing. The problem is he's conducting non-targeted sweeps. Non-targeted. There's no insurrection. There's like no extreme emergency. There's no war going on. What happened in MacArthur Park was not national defense. That's not a riot response. And for me, this goes really deep. This strikes a nerve because we have this law called the Posse Comitatus Act, which basically says that the U.S. government cannot use federal troops as local law enforcement, as domestic police, which we're seeing here. They're using these guys as personal bodyguards for ICE agents. That's not what federal troops are for. And because Trump federalized these troops, they fall underneath this act, this rule. This means that they're not supposed to be pushing civilians out of public places, like kids at a park enjoying soccer on Monday morning. They're not supposed to be helping ICE enforce immigration law either. It's clear that Trump's trying to make an example out of California with uniforms and rifles. This is about our president using troops to flex political power in a state that did not request help, that did not need assistance. And again, this is something I keep coming back to, MAGA. If this president can do this to a state that you hate, a Democratic president could do this to your state. And you're going to expect us to support you in saying, get the fuck out of our state, to recognize your cries for state sovereignty. This is a two-way street we do not want to go down. We do not want to go down this. I don't support a Democratic president doing this unless it's necessary. You know, like your president didn't do for this nightmare of a day. This really is a test for our Constitution, for our country as a whole, and for states and the power that they're supposed to have as a member of this country.